Today's episode is brought to you by Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, go to patreon.com/JoshuaVelas and become a $2 backer today and get early access to the new episodes. I'll be leaving a link in the description down below, but for now, on to today's episode. You're listening to the Augmented Experience podcast. I'm your host, as usual, Joshua Velas. I'm a student, musician, and a gamer at heart. Join me as I sit down every week to talk about all the latest news in the technology, business, and video game world. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Joshua Velas. I am your host as usual, and obviously welcome back to the show. Today's episode 157 of the show, and before we get started, I'm going to do a little bit of house cleaning quick, because you guys know we like to do it around here, and it only makes sense that we do house cleaning because you guys enjoy that we do it around here. So let's get on with it, because today's episode definitely has a lot of interesting things to talk about, to say the least. And we'll get to it clearly because, you know, that's the whole point of the show, because it'd kind of be stupid for me to just stand here and not talk about anything. But let's do house cleaning and then we'll get on with it. Okay. But if you're new around here, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to today's episode, or share it with your friends, or download it, or whatever you like to do with these episodes, whether you're watching the video version so you can see my lovable or hateable, or depending, like, you know, lovable or punchable face on YouTube, if you prefer to watch the show on YouTube, or if you want to listen to the audio version on whichever platform you like to listen to your podcast on. I do thank you guys for your time. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys constantly take time out of your days to download these episodes, to share these episodes, to constantly let me know how you feel about the episodes, how you feel about the topics, because, well, you guys are part of this whole process, whether you believe it or not, because, well, you guys vote on the topic, so it only makes sense that we talk about what you guys vote on. And I greatly appreciate your guys' input on the matter. I really do. I do also want to say thank you to the Patreon backers, because, well, you guys support the show and I greatly appreciate you guys. So thank you, Patreon backers. You obviously get the benefit of seeing this episode early. But I do also want to say, if that's something that you enjoy, that you want to get these episodes early, or, you know, you want to just support me in general, you can obviously click the link down below and click one of the 2 Patreon tiers to get access, whether to the Discord or the early access to the episodes and the Discord. You know, that's up to you guys, and I'll leave it up to you to decide. But I do also want to say thank you guys for all the birthday wishes and everything, because at the time of this recording, my birthday was, you know, last week, and I greatly appreciate that. So thank you guys for all the birthday wishes, and thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It's obviously pretty fun being 21 because, well, some activities, but we're trying to keep the show PG around here. So I say that now, and I'm like, we're trying very hard to keep it PG with all this stuff. So I do want to say thank you guys for everything, but on to today's episode, because we do have a good amount of stuff to talk about, because clearly if you have been living under a rock, then, you know, I'd be concerned because of all the crazy stuff going on. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So if you have been living under a rock, let me catch you up to speed on what happened. So the stock market was clearly going crazy the past few days, and it was pretty hilarious watching the whole thing play out, because GameStop, a company that a lot of people thought were going to die and just die, basically got their asses bailed out a couple months back by Microsoft. And now, before this recording and episode goes live, that, yeah, GameStop was going absolute crazy with their stocks. But what happened, and why did this happen, and why is it important? Because, yes, at the time of this recording, GameStop's stocks have gone down. They're not as crazy as they were before. And some people are like, well, it's all, you know, it's pretty much all game over now. It doesn't matter. But I do believe there's a lot of healthy talking points that spring from this, because it clearly opens a lot of eyes, and it kind of points out a lot of things that a lot of people weren't aware of. And that's the whole point of talking about this. We're not just going to, you know, give you regurgitated info and just say, oh, this is what happened. No, let's have a little bit of a dialogue about why it's important and how I feel like this is going to affect a lot of things going forward, especially in a lot of communities. So what actually happened? So there was a Reddit page called Wall Street Bets, and they had caught drift that there was currently some inside trading going inside that there were people betting against GameStop stocks going down. And as a result, those people would make money because as it goes down, they can buy more and then raise it up and then, make money. But the people in Wall Street Bets caught drift of this, and they just started telling people, hey, buy GameStop stocks. Just buy as much as you can. Pump as much money as you can into it to raise the stocks artificially. Because, well, if I'm being honest, that's what happens when you pump a ton of money into things, you're going to raise it. And they did so artificially. And so GameStop stocks basically became over $300, close to, I think it actually did hit $400. And that was insane for a lot of people because they couldn't wrap their minds around GameStop, this company that a lot of people agreed didn't adapt well to the digital era of things. And as a result, they were going to die. Do I think they're going to die now? I don't. Okay. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, but I don't see GameStop going the way of the dinosaurs anytime soon. I don't see it happening. I think with the bailout from Microsoft and this whole stock situation, I think they're in a good position that they could pull us off if they actually, pay attention and actually listen to what's going on in the market. Because obviously, yes, the digital market, digital distribution of games and products is the new way of doing things. People feel more comfortable doing that way because it's more convenient. And yeah, you also get a good amount of deals from doing it as well. And I get it. I get it. Going digital is currently more popular than anything. But a lot of those rich billionaires were not happy that people were doing this, or the average Joe, or as they like to describe it, the poor people were making money. And obviously that's a pretty big no-go in the billionaire space that, poor people people definitely made a ton of memes about this, where they made like a meme that was funny that it was where it showed a billionaire and then someone's like, the billionaire was like, I need money. And then the guy was like, printer go burr. And then when the poor people ask for money, it says printer be broke. And that just caught, I started laughing my ass off when I saw that, because it's so true in some aspects that to me, it was just like, what the hell is going on? And I'm going to state this obviously right now. I'm going to state this very clearly. I am not a stock expert. I am not someone that you should be taking trading advice from, because I am not equipped to handle this kind of conversation. I am not properly informed to tell you, hey, this is what you should invest in. This is how you should invest, because I can't do that. I'm the worst person to ask about that because I have no idea myself. I'm trying to figure out myself. However, a lot of people were in the same boat and they took the risk and jumped on it. And they ended up making a ton of money. Basically, a lot of people became day traders, which, if you don't know what a day trader is basically people that focus on short-term gain. And obviously, long-term gain is what a lot of people like to do with specific stocks, but that's a whole different conversation. But when you look at it, it's crazy to think how a lot of people were willing to take bets, which is ironic because that's the name of the Reddit page, Wall Street Bets, and made money because they were willing to take the bet and go with the meme, because essentially that's what it was. It was a meme. They wanted to use GameStop as a meme. And then as a result, you had companies like AMC, Nokia, and other companies. Even Dogecoin started to go crazy, even though Dogecoin is at least better than what it was before. But, progress is progress. But in my opinion, yes, things have died down. GameStop has gone down. At the time I was recording, it's around $87, around that range. But when you look at everything, why is it important? Why did this entire meme and occurrence of the heavens somehow shape a lot of things? And it changes a lot of things. It changes the new normal, or it basically creates a new normal is what it does, because it reveals that a lot of people are not financially literate, that a lot of people are not aware about how this game works. And I think that's important because you have to realize it's just a giant game. And that's just the cold, hard reality. It's a giant game that you have to learn how to play. If you want to win, learn how to play it. It's the reality with every game. If you want to be good at something, you learn, you do your homework, you get better at it. But the problem is, a lot of people in lower income situations don't have that kind of access. They can't have people like, help them be financially literate. They don't have the opportunities that a lot of other people do. And that's why, people make that joke. They're like, the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, because it's stereotypically considered that poor people are not financially literate. They're pretty illiterate. Like, they think they're literate. They think they're literate, but they're really not, because they don't know how to be sustainable. Or in the terms of what people like to say is they don't know how to make their money make money. And this is where things become very interesting, because this essentially gave people a chance that the power of the internet, one of the questionable things that we ever made, was, well, I still consider the internet is a great tool, great resource. However, it's also probably led to a lot of other issues in society that I don't think we want to go into, because, well, there's days where I think the internet is amazing and is a great thing, and there's days where I wish we just rot in hell for it. But when you look at it, the internet in this situation helped make people literate. It gave people resources, it gave people tools, and most importantly, it gave them information. And that's what a lot of people needed, because when somebody was able to properly tell them, hey, this is how this works, this is what you should do, this is how you should go about it, and this is what will happen. And look what happened. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon, and then we got this whole meme craze where GameStop stocks, or I think someone was saying is like GameStop basically became so successful because their stocks were just going absolute bonkers. And of course, a lot of people that are accustomed to, running the stock market and playing the game weren't too happy about that. They were saying that this is illegal, that this was wrong, that, these people should all be taken to court and things. Like, it was a whole mess that a lot of people in the upper income were not happy, and they were upset. And it even got to the point where Robinhood actually stopped people from buying and selling stocks, specific stocks. Well, stop buying stocks, or they were also forcing accounts to sell stocks. Like, you didn't even get a choice. Like, it would automatically sell it because they thought it's what's best for you. And granted, this led to Robinhood now being hit with class action lawsuits because, well, that's illegal, highly, highly illegal to be precise. And now they're getting their ass cheeks clapped in the court. So, have fun with that. Granted, it kind of sucks for me because I use Robinhood. So, but to me, the reason I see this whole situation as important is because it shows that people are financially illiterate, but they can be literate with the power of the internet if they're willing to learn and willing to listen and put in some time and effort. Because we live in the day, or specifically, we live in the age of you can learn anything off the internet. You really can. Like, people say, like, I know people say that as a joke, or they say that as just a catchy, phrase in terms of, or turn of phrase, but it does hold semblance and weight, that people are able to learn skills, they're able to learn traits, they're able to learn how to essentially play this game because of the internet. Now, that doesn't mean everything on the internet is right. That doesn't mean everything on the internet is going to be 10 out of 10 gold, but there's definitely some good stuff on there, and there's some bad stuff. You just have to learn how to sort it out, and you have to, be mindful, be thoughtful, be intentional, and also not be an idiot to believe everything off the internet. That's why you have to do your homework and be smart and pay attention, follow trends, follow patterns, and see what works, what doesn't work. But that's the point, is we live in the day and age where you can learn how this stuff works off the internet. Like, you don't have an excuse unless you genuinely don't have access to the internet. Like, at that point, well, yeah, you have an excuse because you can't access this tool. You can't access this resource. But if you can, well, what's your excuse? Lack of time? It's not a lack of resources. You have the resources. But what a lot of people don't seem to realize is, yes, speaking as a Hispanic person, this is just me speaking from personal experience. Like, yes, Hispanic people are not considered financially literate people. We're not. Like, whether you want to agree with that or not, that's what a lot of people say. It's a common trend. It's a lot of things that go around that, Hispanic people tend to not be the most financially literate people. They don't care about stock markets. They just care about trying to earn as much money as you possibly can. rather than focusing on passive income or diversifying your income, that they don't believe in this kind of stuff. They really don't. They just believe in do this as much as you can and earn as much as you can and move on with your life. And clearly that doesn't work anymore, because given the current circumstances of things, it's better to diversify your income and have multiple sources of income, to have passive income, as well as also having like normal income. That you should have a broad portfolio in terms of your income. And with stuff like this, like people like the average Joe, like you and me, were able to get a piece of this game and win. And that's crazy to think about it, that we were able to win at this game that a lot of people consider rigged. They don't consider fair, because there's a lot of information that, you know, people that are more, I would say, better off, or at least have more resources at their disposal, yeah, they get a little bit better information because they have more resources to throw at a problem. But in my opinion, it was a very fascinating thing to see, because this shows that the internet can be used for something good. And in this case, it was to help people become more financially literate and help them to catch on to this game and teach them how to win. And it caused a lot of, like, it pissed off a lot of rich people. Let's be honest here. Let's not pretend that it didn't, because it was very vocal and very public that they were pissed off. And it's pretty funny. Like, yes, do I think there's going to be ramifications for this stuff later down the line? Yes, there probably will be. But it just proved many points that yes, it is a game, and sometimes the game is rigged, but you can win. You just have to know what you're doing. And thanks to the internet, people are willing to teach you. Like, heck, because of this whole situation, you see on Twitter the outpour of people offering financial advice to people. Like, people that have figured out how the game works are willing to teach you how the system works, how to make good investments, how to do well in this specific area. And it baffles me that there's still people that say no to free advice. Like, my G, is your head up your own ass? Like, I shit you not. I know I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that, but you have to be kidding me at that point. Like, my guy, that's free advice. Like, someone who has figured out how the game works is willing to teach you how to play the game, and yet you're like, nah, I'm fine. Like, I don't care. I think I know everything. Like, you dense mofo. Like, Christ almighty. Like, I can't even put into words with that kind of stuff, my guy. Like, I really can't. Like this is just me being off topic. Like, I'm pretty stubborn. I'm not gonna pretend I'm not. Like, I'm a pretty stubborn human being. But even then, I'm not that dense, bro. Like, come on. Like, it amazes me that people complain that their situation is bad, yet when someone tries to help them make their situation better, they still complain because they said no, and they just want to play the victim, and they just want to, you know, wallow in their own filth and just keep playing a victim rather than making an effort to make things better. And to me, it's interesting because this just proves a lot of things. This whole GameStop situation isn't just about a meme. It isn't just about like revealing how the stock market really works and how it's a pretty rigged system and it's a giant game that if you don't know how to play, you're never going to win. But it also teaches people, I would say it also taught people how to be financially literate. It basically taught people the importance of being financially literate, because you can be well off, whether you want to believe it or not. Like, you can do well. You just have to put in the time and effort, and you have to be humble enough to receive help, to, you know, be helped. Like, you have to be willing to receive the information. If you're being too dense and too stubborn, you're never going to learn. You're just, you know, it's going out one ear, going out the other, or it's not even going through the ear. It's basically just stuck through. Basically, I would like to call it the earwax of stubbornness. And that's just a cold hard reality. But in my opinion, this whole situation with GameStop has been eye-opening. It has been encouraging. And I'm glad that something like this happened, because it's teaching people, hey, you do not have an excuse not to learn something. You can be better off in life. are you just willing to choose it? Are you willing to put in the time and the effort to learn how the system works that we all know is rigged, that it's just a giant game, but you can win it. You just have to know how to play it and play it the right way. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for your time, for listening to this episode, to watching this episode, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, or you're watching the video version, you get to see my dumb face or lovable face, whichever you consider. But I greatly do appreciate your guys' time. It really does mean a lot to me. If you like today's episode, if you're watching on YouTube, then you can leave a like or a dislike. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave a rating down below and let me know what you guys think about the show. If you like other topics, you like this topic. And I really do thank you guys for everything. Obviously, thank you to the Patreon backers, because you guys get to see this episode early, and you also support me a little bit financially, so I greatly appreciate you guys. But I thank you guys for everything. Thank you guys for your time, for listening to the episode. It really, really does mean a lot to me. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was informative to you guys, and I hope that I was able to provide some different perspective rather than just regurgitating, info on you guys, because I felt like with something like this, regurgitating info was not the way about doing things. It was not a good idea. In my opinion, it was not a good idea. But I thank you guys for everything. I love you guys to death. Please be safe, guys. There will only be one episode this week, so you're only getting a Wednesday episode. I'm sorry. I'm busy with school. Like I've told you guys multiple times, school is always going to be my priority in this whole situation. Like school is number one. So I thank you guys for being patient with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys. Please be safe out there. Don't do anything dumb. Have a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Obviously, this is Super Bowl weekend. Don't do anything dumb. I hope the Chiefs win because, well, I want Pat Mahomes to win over Tom Brady, but it's going to be a good game regardless. Thank you guys for your time. I love you guys to death, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Hey there. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day and listening to today's episode. If you're interested in supporting the show, whether it be financially, clicking the follow button, or just sharing the episode, it all works for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for your time, and I love you guys to death.